Oh hey, I didn't see you there. I'm just about to extract some DNA from a banana. Why don't you guys come along for the journey?
Bill Nye the Science Guy. Bill Nye the Science Guy. Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Science rules.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Have you ever heard someone tell you about your genes? Genes are the things that tell your body what to do. Genes are made up of these molecules called DNA, or deoxyribonucleic acid. Now, every DNA molecule is made up of four main chemicals: adenine, guanine, cytosine, and thymine. These are organized in a very complex and precise way, almost like a code. Now, your body can read these codes and react in a certain way depending on what this code says. So, DNA molecules are extremely long. If they're stretched out, they'd be anywhere from 2 to 3 meters long. Now, obviously, this can't fit in your cells. So these DNA molecules are compressed really tight into something called chromosomes. Now, humans have 23 pairs of chromosomes, so 46 in total. We have 23 from our mom and 23 from our dad. So now why don't we get started on our experiment and extract some DNA from this banana. Whoa, where did all this come from? Anyways, let's just do our experiment. We already have a banana that we chopped up and mushed up right here. So what we're going to do first is add some salt. Now what the salt does is when we mush up this banana even further, it just makes sure that the DNA molecules can stay together. So I'm just going to mix this all together and mash it up a little bit more, and we'll see you again in a couple minutes.
A few moments later.
So I'm going to add just a little bit of warm water to this mixture, just so we can kind of make a slushy out of it. And just keep on mashing this up. And this will probably take anywhere from 5 to 7 minutes. So we'll see you again then.
Eventually.
So once we have a consistent mixture, we have to add about a teaspoon of soap. So what the soap does is it breaks down the plasma membrane that surrounds every cell. So the DNA is held inside this plasma membrane, and we need to break this apart so we can get access to it. We're just going to mix it in here a little bit, and this will take another 2 minutes.
A few moments later.
So now that all the DNA has come out of that plasma membrane, we have this mixture right here. But it's in a mixture with all the other stuff, like the guts of the banana, so the carbohydrates, the fats, the proteins. So we're just going to strain it out, and then we'll extract the DNA from that later. So we now have the DNA extract here combined with some of the other parts of the banana. We're just going to pour it into a cup here. And then what we're going to do is add some cold isopropyl alcohol to this. So while we do that, is the DNA can't dissolve in the isopropyl alcohol. So by adding it, it kind of separates from the rest of the solution, and then that way we can extract it. So just add a couple of teaspoons of it, and we'll give it some time to separate.
A few moments later.
So now we've let this rest for a little bit. You can see the DNA start to release from the rest of the solution, and it starts to float up on top here if you zoom in. So that DNA is the DNA from the banana, and you can take this out and look at it under a microscope if you want, and you'll see many of its different properties. So remember, if you do this experiment at home, be sure to use protection and be safe. So now back to DNA. Like I said, DNA is an extremely long molecule. So this molecule is organized into a shape called a double helix, and it looks like this. So molecules of DNA code for something called amino acids. Now thousands of amino acids combine together to form proteins. These amino acids are like Lego and can be combined in many different ways to get different proteins. So these proteins, along with other molecules, are used to form the cells in your body. The code in your DNA is read by molecules and formed into something called messenger RNA, or mRNA. This new code is then read, and organelles called ribosomes can create them into proteins. So DNA is so important because it tells the cells in your body what to do, and it tells your body which amino acids should be used and in which order they should be assembled so that they make the perfect protein. Now if there's an error in this DNA, known as a mutation, these proteins begin to form incorrectly and can result in many diseases. So we hope you learned something about DNA today, and see you next time on the show.